my throne. They couldn't build their own. They can't believe my growth. They see the change, the tone, but they couldn't handle that.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And in this series we're going to be going over Uranus in the houses, okay? Uranus in the houses. And in this episode we're going to be talking about the third house. So having Uranus in your third house. And I have to remind you before we get into it, to check out my music, okay? If you enjoyed the music in the beginning of this video, that's my music. Check it out here on YouTube. All you have to do is type my name and all my music will pop up. You can also check it out on Spotify, Apple, TikTok, whichever you prefer. Definitely check it out. I'll definitely appreciate it, okay? So, getting back into Uranus in the third house, okay? And before we get into that, let's just dissect what Uranus is and what the third house is. Okay, Uranus is a very complex energy to explain, in my opinion, in astrology. It's one of the most complex, but I'm gonna try my best. So the first thing to understand what Uranus is, Uranus rules our friends, our associates, our acquaintances, okay? Our fans, okay? Our followers, you know, our network, okay? When you think of Uranus, you're thinking about society at large, your social life. And you can say, well, other planets deal with your friends too and your associates like Venus and Mercury. But Uranus stands out very differently, okay? With Venus deals with your one-to-one. So that's like your best friends or like your romantic partners, people that balance you out in a way. And Uranus isn't that deep, okay? Uranus isn't like your lifetime partner or your marriage partner or even your best friend. Uranus is a simple friend. You know, maybe you guys both are into Pokemon cards and you guys both join a club. So based on that association, you guys are, you know, friends or associates. It doesn't have to be something deep. It doesn't have to be your best friend. So Uranus is not as intimate as Venus, okay? It's not that, okay? These are like very light friendships, associates, acquaintances, okay? People that connect to you on random things, anything, but not so deeply, not so much of a mirror, not like a yin and yang like Venus. And then, you know, Mercury doesn't deal with deep relationships neither. It could be friendships just like Uranus. But what differentiates Uranus from Mercury as well too when it comes to associations and friendships is Uranus takes you outside of your box. Mercury deals with your community, where you live, you know, your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, your community, okay? The people you're familiar with. Uranus takes you outside the box. Uranus could be your followers on social media, people that you don't know, people that could be from different countries, different places, and literally are following you because of your content. Okay, it's not, you know, something close like Mercury. Okay, so Uranus takes you outside of your community. Okay, so it's society again at large, all right? And speaking of social media is such a great concept to bring because Uranus rules social media. Yes, it rules the internet and social media. Okay, and the fact that we're living in the Aquarius age, Uranus rules Aquarius. So it's no surprise that social media is such a huge deal in this era, okay? Why? Because Uranus rules is because it deals with our connections. You know, you think about social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you know, it all deals with fans, followers, who's following you, who you're connecting to, you know, and it connects you to people that you could have never seen or been in contact with. You know, it's social networking, which is all ruled by Uranus, okay? So definitely social media is ruled by Uranus, all right? And not only that, Uranus deals with the mind. Anytime we're talking about society and connections and and friendships and associates, we're talking about connections, and that's done through communication. So this is dealing with the air energy, mental energy. So if we're talking about communication, we're talking about the mind because we use the mind to communicate. So Uranus rules your mind, but Uranus is the higher mind because Mercury also rules your mind. But Mercury deals with your basic mind. It's like receiving information, retaining information, communicating information all around you, how you function on a day-to-day basis. But Uranus it takes it to a next level. It's like it deals with your mind, but your like higher mind or your genius mind. It's about thinking outside the box. It's about inventing your own ideas, okay? It's about unique thinking. This type of thing can also be rebellious, okay? It can create a rebellious mentality because you're going against the grain, okay? You're not just receiving the formula 1 + 1 = 2. You're thinking of different ways that 1 + 1 can equal 2. This is Uranus. That's why Uranus is like the genius mind, because it's thinking just like Mercury, but it's thinking outside the box. It's inventing new ideas, new ways of thinking. So that's why Uranus is like the higher mind, the genius mind, because it allows you to invent and to be creative in your own unique way using logic, okay? So Uranus is that outer box thinking. It's that genius thinking. It's also rebellious. It's shocking. It's controversial. You have to understand, when you're rebelling against ideas or thinking of new ways of ideas, you know, you could be going against the grain a lot of times. And that geniusness and that invention doesn't come without controversy, without something shocking, okay, without, you know, ruffling feathers. So Uranus deals with shock factor and rebellious and controversy, okay? Uranus also rules technology, okay? When you think about technology, this is how we advance our world using our minds to create inventions. All Uranus. Uranus is, again, all about using the mind, you know, to create new ideas, new inventions. This is how our inventions are created. It's through the mind, but it's also through the mind thinking outside the box. So innovation, inventions, all of technology is literally ruled by Uranus. It is the energy that rules Uranus. As well as electricity. Yes, electricity. Think about our technology. All our inventions, the highest, the greatest technology, are all electrical. They all deal with electricity. Okay, electricity is that running energy, that advancing energy, like Uranus, okay? Also, like I said, electricity is shocking, just like Uranus, okay? Uranus is about that shock factor. Like I say, you don't get these inventions without a little shock. Okay, it's that energy. So that is Uranus, a very complex energy, but deals with social networking, innovation, and invention, and thinking outside the box and some controversy. And then you have the third house. The third house is ruled by Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Third house deals with our basic mind, okay? How we receive information. This is our early education, reading, writing, spelling, okay? This is how we retain and remember information. This is where all our skill sets are learned. It's through the third house. This is through the mind. Our communication, how we speak, how we talk, how we communicate. All mental energy, okay? This is the third house. So, with that being said, the first thing I can say about Uranus and third house people is that these people are super smart. And as basic as that sounds, it is basic, but it's true. These people are super smart because the third house deals with our mind, how we use our mind, logic, retaining information, remember information, communicating information, all of that. When you put Uranus here, Uranus being this fast, shocking planet, it speeds it up. Uranus already deals with the mind. So you're putting mind on mind, you're getting a strong mind, but Uranus is the mind that's super shocking, super fast, and super unique. So people with Uranus in third house, they receive information very quickly, they retain information very quickly, they communicate it quickly. Uranus in third house people are very quick with the mind, and Uranus speeds up that mind. So they're very smart. You could be very smart at school, just very good at picking up skills. You have a lot of skills that you pick up just because you're so quick, and this makes a very super smart person, okay? So definitely something to be mindful of. Another thing with Uranus' house is not only are they super fast with the mind, which makes them very smart because they're retaining information quickly, you know, they're understanding it very quickly, they're the first people to get it and remember it. They're also thinking outside the box. So what makes them even more than just super smart, because Mercury in the third house could be very super smart too, but what makes Uranus in the third house even different is that they're thinking outside the box as well. So they're inventing, again, new ideas. These people are very inventive. They have an inventive mind. They naturally think outside the box. They naturally create and invent their own ideas. Okay, these are the people that they understand the formula. You give them the formula, they get it quickly. Boom, boom, boom. Then they get bored of that and they're like, okay, how do we flip it? How do we switch it? How do we create a new way of getting this answer? That is Uranus in third house people. Very inventive mind. You can go on to create your own inventions, create your own ideas, unique ideas for the world, to advance the world. I mean, this is a genius mind, a mind that thinks outside the box. So again, super fast with the mind, super fast with information, retaining information, communicating it, but also super unique, just thinking outside the box. Yes, they get the formula, but now let's create a new formula, you know, to get that same answer. Very inventive, very unique, very smart, very quick with the mind. These people are super geniuses, very super smart. Also, with Uranus in the third house, I like to say there's a lot of shocking speech, okay? Third house deals with how we communicate, how we speak, talk, and what we communicate. With Uranus here, a lot of the things that you communicate can be very shocking to people, okay? It could be inventive and very smart, you know, going against the grain, saying the thing, but it can also just be like shocking stuff, saying things that are inappropriate or saying things that are very weird, shocking, surprising, random. Very Uranus in third house, their speech is of shock factor, you know, saying the thing that's gonna make everyone go, you know, that's very much Uranus in third house people. So definitely be mindful of that. They're very shocking when it comes to communication and speech. They're definitely gonna be the ones to say the stuff that makes people cringe or makes people go, what in the world? You know, with their unique thoughts and ideas, they're only going to express them, okay? Because the third house is the communicative house. So you're communicating these thoughts, and their thoughts are so inventive and unique. So once they put them out there, they definitely could be controversial. They definitely could be shocking and surprising. But it's definitely the Uranus in third house style of communication. Shocking speech, okay? Also with Uranus in third house, with speaking of communication, these people can have a very unique voice. So the way that they speak is very unique, very different. Maybe the tone of their voice is very unique and different. Maybe it's weird. Maybe it sounds weird. Maybe the rhythm and the way that they talk, it's just weird or different or unique, but their communication style, their actual voice can be very unique and different. So definitely a placement for unique communication, but also even an interesting sounding voice, a unique pattern of talking, whatever it is. Definitely weird, unique people when it comes to talking and speaking and their voice and communication. Also, even though Uranus and third house are very super smart people, especially in my opinion, they can be just as much trouble when it especially comes to school and education, because that's the third house of rules, like education and how we learn and teaching and learning and all that stuff, especially early school, elementary, middle school. Uranus in third house people could have been very rebellious, okay, during school days. So like the teacher teaches something, right? And it's all good and dandy, and then the Uranus in third house person raises their hand and says, well, what if this happened, and what if that happened, and I don't actually think of it this way, I actually think it could be this way, you know, and this could be distracting for education because you're trying to teach, you know, one way, and here's the Uranus in third house person going against the grain. So they could be very rebellious, and the thing about Uranus is that their rebelliousness comes with lots of logic. So again, it's not like they're just saying, oh, like the teacher's wrong or this is wrong. It's more so saying like, okay, I understand this concept, but what if it's this way? What if we switch it up and did this? What if we did this to find this formula? And a lot of times that could be distracting for a teacher trying to just simply teach their basic formulas, their standards, their programs, because the Uranus in third house person is always rebelling against the systems, rebelling against, you know, how things are supposed to be taught and learned, how things are supposed to go with their unique ideas. So they can cause lots of controversy, being so rebellious in school, so rebellious in terms of the systems and how things are taught, how things are done. They can rebel a lot. And it could be hard, you know, for teachers because, like I said, Uranus is still mental. It's still very smart. So they can back up. A lot of times, Uranus in third house, a lot of times they could be rebels with no causes. Definitely could be a rebel with no cause. Just having an argument or, you know, taking the left side versus the right just for the sake of it. But because this is Uranus, we're talking about a mental planet here. A lot of times, Uranus in third house can back up the reason why they're going left or right, whatever it is. They could always back it up because it's a mental. So their unique ideas come with the basis of logic. It's not just, let me just think outside the box. It can be. But a lot of times, again, because this is the mental sign, it has to make logical sense. But they can be such rebels in school. Like, it's almost like you're too smart for your own good. You know, you were just making things even more complicated for the teacher because of the things you would question, the extra ideas you would add on. So the rebelliousness in school and education and learning is a big thing with Uranus in third house. And it's not just for early school, it's for the rest of your life. Anytime someone's teaching you something or you're being learned, you know, your unique inventive mind is always finding unique ways of how to do this. What's another way of doing this? What's a different way of doing this? You know, that's just how Uranus third house person works. And like I said, it could be very annoying for an educator, for a teacher, because they always got to deal with that student who's just too smart for their own good. Also, with Uranus in third house, these people can have lots of cool, interesting, unique hobbies, okay? Third house is the house of where you can pick up lots of skills, as well as the sixth house, but we're talking about the third house. Third house ruled by Mercury, ruled by Gemini. This is lots of receiving information, retaining information, remembering information. This is how we function. So with Uranus here, a lot of your functions are unique. You know, a lot of the skills and things that you've learned are unique. You can have so many different unique hobbies. Maybe you play a sport, okay? Because a Mercury third house person could do lots of hobbies too. Third house is the house of hobbies. But with Uranus in here, you're unique and inventive. So say you do a sport, you know, and it's a pretty, you know, lacrosse or basketball. But the way that you dribble, the way that you shoot is very different, unique. You invented your own unique style of playing this sport. Okay, so this is a placement of having lots of hobbies and different skills, but also doing it in a very unique way. Or maybe you play a sport that isn't very popular. Okay, it hasn't been, you know, an official league yet. It's a very like unique type of sport. Or maybe you just do unique things. Maybe you collect unique stuff. Maybe you're into unique sciences and so pseudosciences and different studies. Maybe, you know, you sing with a very interesting way. Whatever it is you do, you have a lot of unique hobbies. You have a lot of hobbies in general because you're smart and you could pick up lots of skills. But they're also on top of that unique and different in some type of way. Again, maybe you approach it in a different way. Maybe it's just unique and different within itself. But lots of unique hobbies here. Also, with Uranus in third house, this is a great placement for a social life, okay? Making friends, networking, meeting people. Okay, Uranus is the planet of society and networking, associates, acquaintances. And the third house is another networking house, okay? It's the house ruled by Gemini. It's all about communicating to your neighbors, communicating to people all around you, communicating in general. So very social. There's lots of communication here, lots of communication within your community. You could be very popular in your community, very unique and stand out. You could just be a great networker and talk to lots of people and gain lots of associates. Your social media following can be very strong with Uranus in the third house, okay? Uranus, again, giving you that following. And third house being the house of communication, how you get around, you know. So you get around socially. You can meet lots of people with this placement, have lots of acquaintances, associates, okay? Have lots of connections. It's a very great place for networking. It's a very good placement for networking. Really will advance your social life, really, with Uranus in the third house. And third house being our community, you know, Uranus being this unique energy. In general, in your community, in your hometown, you could be that very unique person, okay, that stands out, okay, with Uranus here in the third house. You'd be that very unique person in your community that everyone knows is very different, but everyone knows because you really stand out and you connect very well. So that is Uranus in the third house. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Okay, this is a very smart placement. Like I said, these people are geniuses. They think outside the box. They're very smart. They retain information very quickly. It's a very super smart placement. But on top of retaining information, understanding formulas very quickly and fast, they also think outside the box. So they're inventive, okay? They're unique, they're different, they create their own ideas. So Uranus in third house is a very blessed placement. You have a super smart, unique mind. You're inventive and you can change the world with your mind. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you did, book a reading with me, okay? I do astro readings as well as tarot. Okay, all you have to do is email me. We could go forward with that. Also, check out my music, okay? I have my music, my videos. They're all here on YouTube. I'll have all the links in the description box below. And I'll check you guys out on the next episode.